What up? What up? Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the Sleuth Intuition channel. Today is going to be a super chill morning stream. We're not going to take it too seriously. I think today we can go over some updates, and we haven't really met in the morning to discuss the Delphi murders, so I figured we'll spend the end of this stream talking about that case. But mainly updates on some cases we've been covering on True Crime in the Morning. And also an update I wanted to talk to you guys about on the Rex Heuermann case. And then we can talk a little bit about what all you members out there want to do for the meeting later today. So far, you guys mentioned Joshua Maddox. Hopefully, I'm pronouncing that correctly. Maddux. For some reason, I want to say Maddow, but I'm not sure. You guys all know I'm illiterate. What's up, Jim Cook? Welcome. Hopefully, you'll be around for the Delphi discussion. Going to talk a little bit about Mr. Doolin. Horihito, what's up? Night Shadow, good to see you. Jerry, Wanda, Jill, hello. CJK, nice. Shout out to Kansas. Enjoying a nice rainy day. That sounds wonderful. We almost got some rain yesterday. Just missed us. Frederica, hello. What's going on, Phil? Good to see you, my friend. Good morning. Good morning. Good to see you, Melissa, Mar, True Crime and Other Stuff. Good to see you, Tattoo. It's been a minute. The Zombie Hunter Killer. What you talking about, Willis? Go ahead and send some of that rain this way, guys. Not too much, just a little bit. Forever Young, hello. Good to see you, Tattoo. Shadowbox, yo, stop talking badly about yourself. You're not illiterate. I'm not talking badly about myself. It is true. It is true. Take a peek at Crystal Quinn from New York State. All right. What's going on with that case? Horihito. Because I'm looking for cases to cover for True Crime in the Morning. I think mainly we're going to focus on murder mysteries. Crystal Quinn. Thank you for that. Oscar, how you doing? Hey, shout out to Sydney, Australia. What's up, Ruckus? Freckled. Wasabi, bitches. Good to see you. No new news here in Indiana about Delphi or anything. Everything's being kept quiet. All right, let's go ahead and start with Nichole Coates. Wait, I thought I had a video. Okay, yeah, I do. Okay, so for those of you who have been kind of following the True Crime in the Morning series that I've been doing, we recently covered a case. Well, actually, it was two cases. It was Melissa Mooney and Nichole Coates out of Los Angeles. Two 32-year-old girls, models, both found dead within less than a mile of each other. Both living in luxury apartments. Last time they were heard from was both September 7th. Melissa was pregnant. Nichole apparently had a date. Well, there's been an update on Nichole, and we're going to take a look at that here in a minute. And it's crazy. We covered her case, and then literally 10 hours later, there was an update. Good to see you, the Rockaways. Where is Rosie's withdrawal notice filing? I don't know. Gull said within the weeks. Within the week. Can't remember what she said. Tiffany Jenks. Check out the zombie hunter killer out of Arizona. What the? Hey, what's up, Brown Skittle? Yeah, if you guys want me not to forget these, I suggest you email me. And put in the subject like cases to cover. Ruckus says, I spent a few hours with Mark Robert last night. That is the bullet that I pointed out. CSI collected it day one, photographed it, and initiated a chain of custody. So let's put that to bed. Yeah, to be honest, Ruckus, I don't think anybody's worried about that, right? I mean, they can sit there and nitpick every little thing. Oh, well, really what they mean is I didn't see it, but who gives a shit about them? The investigators are doing their job properly. And if you're going to go around thinking every investigation is just some part of corruption, I mean, nothing would ever get done. I mean, you couldn't even, how are you driving on the freeway? That's like saying every time you go on the freeway, somebody's going to try to crash into you or purposely, break the law. And yeah, sometimes you will see those people out there, but the majority of traffic is moving smoothly and all trying to just accomplish the same thing, right? Get shit done. Hey, Sleuth, do you only talk about unsolved cases? No, but I do like to focus on unsolved cases on the morning show, like mysteries. I feel like it's kind of like we're helping spread that awareness on those specific cases. But yeah, I mean, every now and then we'll cover some other things. But that's just for the morning show. I mean, we can do live streams and videos whenever and on whatever topics we feel like it. Rescue all the dogs. What's up? You are not late. Fashionably late. Good to see you, Julianne. Shay, what's up? GP. All right, looks like everybody's in here. Okay, so I think it was September 10th, if I'm not mistaken. Nichole was discovered in her apartment during a wellness check. Her father's quoted as saying he went into the home, said, "Hey, Nichole," and then kind of reached over to touch her and said she felt like stone. And those are his words. But it was very suspicious. They couldn't really, her face had bruising on it. Her leg was kind of up. But I think after talking to the chat, we have a lot of people in the medical profession, paramedics and things like that. If she was face down with like a knee up and you turned her over, she would kind of be stuck in that position. So the family was very concerned because 2 days later, Melissa Mooney was found dead in her luxury apartment less than a mile away, same age, 32. Both models. I mean, what are the odds, right? And I still believe they could be connected in some way, right? That's Nichole's place there. Downtown LA. But this was the breaking news on that case as of yesterday evening.
investigation in the death of model Nichole Coates, who was found dead in her downtown LA apartment last month. The medical examiner has ruled her death was accidental. The report said a combination of cocaine and alcohol was the main cause of death back on September 10th. Police have also said there was no evidence to suggest that Coates' death and the death of model Melissa Mooney on September 12th were related in any way.
So, right, law enforcement can't say that they're connected if they don't have anything that points to that. But we can speculate. I mean, Nichole Coates, last time she was heard from was on September 7th. Melissa Mooney, same thing. Last time she was heard from, September 7th. Now, Nichole was found before Melissa. So, I mean, what are the odds that they're connected? Maybe something bad happened over there at Nicole's place, and then that party moves over to Melissa's place, and in order to conceal a crime, you know, Melissa is then murdered. How far-fetched is that? It's just strange, same age. And one of them was supposed to be on a date. She had a date on the 8th. So what if they're out, they meet each other, or maybe they already know each other. Like, hey, you're a model, I'm a model. Oh, you're 32, I'm 32. Some kind of connection there. These are all hypotheticals, by the way. Don't go quote me. Good to see you, Mitzi. What's going on, Brett? Silas, how are you? Miss Mala. Miss Mala says, I was a victim of small town police corruption in the late 1980s, and my cousin was intimidated not to file charges regarding someone on a police force. So I am naturally suspicious. Yeah, you should be suspicious of everything. You should never be blindly following anything. And that goes with your own judgment. Second guess yourself sometimes. Yeah, they're both gorgeous, successful. Cocaine and alcohol. Where'd she get the cocaine from? Was somebody like, hey, this can't get back to me? Katie's asking, is anybody else having audio issues? I'm not sure. Good to see you, Katie. Good to see you, Lulu. Good to see you, Digital. Yeah, it's awful. I mean, the coincidences just kind of blows my mind. DC Primetime. Have a great day at work. Thank you, Mar. Hey, my guy Richard, how are you doing? Good morning. GP says, did they both die like that? No. So we've been waiting since September 10th on the coroner's report when it comes to Nichole Coates. They've been reporting as of right now undetermined. So that was the breaking news there, is that the coroner finally came out and said, hey, the cause of death is alcohol and cocaine. But when it comes to the case of Melissa Mooney, it was declared a homicide right from the beginning. Apparently, it was a very violent crime scene. I believe she was beaten. But I mean, the only thing I can think about is like the security cameras. You got these luxury apartments, gated communities. You need codes to get into anything there on both. Where's the security footage? Who were they with? Who was coming and going? Are they connected? Are they friends? I don't know. That's a strange one. And I feel like cases like that, you'll just never know. You'll just never know the truth. The cops aren't willing to dig any deeper than they need to, and nobody's willing to say anything. It's like, that's it. Yeah, this one was drugs and alcohol, and this one is unrelated. It's unknown suspect. What the hell are the odds of that? What's up, Deception? Good morning. All right, let's move on to
The infamous Gilgo Beach
Long Island serial killer case, or sometimes referred to as the Gilgo 4.
murders.
Tonight, an attorney representing some of the victims coming forward to say he has new evidence that he says links suspect Rex Heuermann to 2 other victims. Jody Goldberg has the latest.
4 witnesses coming forward, 2 of them giving sworn statements. This new information offers a glimpse into suspected serial killer Rex Heuermann's life.
This is something that's very important to me. I'm going to continue to grind to make sure anybody that had an interaction with our defendant, Rex Heuermann, is held accountable in this case.
There's a pattern of a guy who likes to play kind of sporting games with the sex workers, chases them,
creepy.
haunts them, hunts them. That's what we're looking at.
John Ray, the attorney for some of the victims in the notorious case, stood beside Suffolk's Police Commissioner Rodney Harrison, reading accounts from women who decided to speak out after recognizing Heuermann in handcuffs. One account alleges his then-wife Asa Ellerup posted their contact information to engage in swinger sex back in 1996, saying she knew what was going on.
He was a serial user of sex workers. He would sometimes have them come 2 at a time.
All right, let's go ahead and talk about that part. What do you think about Rex Heuermann's wife and this new information? Do you buy into that she might know? And then to think that the evidence that ties Rex to the crimes is like mostly her hair. And I know you can transfer that easily. That's what I was expecting. But to hear that she might have known about all of this, what if she's involved?
Time to his house, and his wife was home upstairs, and in one instance got very angry at one of the sex workers because the wife believed that the worker had stolen an iron.
That same witness recognized Karen Verga.
So the witnesses are saying that Rex Heuermann's wife is interacting with these working girls that Rex Heuermann is bringing over.
Ada's picture. She was a sex worker and the first known victim. She remembers bringing her to Heuermann's home. Ray also spoke to a taxi driver who claims she saw Shannon Gilbert with Heuermann in a motel back in 2009.
The driver knows her well and notices that she has a drooping eye, and it helps her to remember Shannon when she sees her later on.
Ray says the witnesses came forward to help advance the case. He says his phone lines are open for anyone who wants to talk and doesn't want to go to police. But the district attorney's office says it'll be investigated through the grand jury, and private attorneys aren't part of the task force. Now, Heuermann is due back in court on November 15th. We reached out to his attorney, who has no comment.
Coming out of the woodwork. True crime. Oh shit, wouldn't be the first couple killers. I just don't know if I believe it. I mean, I tend to. I'm leaning that way. Man, that would just be shocking. Yeah, the model. Well, from my understanding, that can happen if you're found, let's say you're deceased and you're face down, all the blood is going to kind of settle down, because of gravity, and it'll cause bruising in those areas, is what I understand. But the family took it as, we couldn't recognize her. We had to identify her because of her tattoos. Lividity. Thank you, Freckled. Lividity. Miss Mala says, accepting that your husband has outside activity is one thing. but allowing him to bring the woman home when you are there is something else. Well, okay, let's go one step further. How about participating? Right? So you have 2 steps there in your comment, but there's a third step. Accepting it as one, allowing it to be in the home, and then the third, you're actually participating. That's what these witnesses are saying. And then basically treating them like trash, like, "Oh, you stealing my iron?" You know what I mean? Like, Digital, what's up? I think the wife was just satisfied to have something to keep Rex away from her. I mean, you would hope, but really, we don't know who she is as a person. Mar says, I would know because I'm nosy as fuck if my husband was killing. What's going on, Frank? Brown Skittle says, yeah, the Eller Up swinger thing is weird. Not totally shocked, though, to be honest. There's weird vibes from that house. Well, I didn't like the fact, and I'm not saying that these witnesses are being honest, but I didn't like the fact that she said nothing about the victims' families. She was like, oh, we're being put out. The investigators searched our home for 10 hours, dug up the yard, just threw everything in boxes. Never once did I hear her say, well, I understand that they have to do this. I just found out that my husband is a monster, and my heart goes out to those families. If there was anything I could do to help them, I will. Not once did I hear anything like that. It was like, oh, we're stuck on the porch and this and that. Not once did I hear anybody on that side say, hey, our prayers go out to if he did this, our prayers go out to these victims' families. I don't even think I've heard I think the attorney finally eventually said something to that nature, but it's like they can't just come out and say it. But instead it's like, oh, we're a victim too. Like, no, you're not. Like, you are kind of like a victim, but not really. You weren't murdered. And you can thank your husband for that. Miss Mollis is right. She knows he brings them home, maybe participating, and they wound up dead. I don't know. It's very suspicious. Freckle says, I'm not one to kink shame, but it is pretty questionable. Yeah, if you can do these types of things without murdering these people after, hey, do your thing. But after finding that these people have been victimized and were killed by an actual serial killer, then it becomes questionable, especially when the woman's hair is what led to Rex to begin with. It's a little suspicious, guys. Hey, what's up? 2007 whistleblower. Good to see you. Hey, in my opinion, it's delusional disorder, the eternal victimhood. Well, it's not like law enforcement's victimizing her, you know what I mean? It's a byproduct of her husband's actions. He's victimizing her. They can't just say, "Oh, well, we don't want to hurt your feelings, so we can't search your home." It's like, "I'm sorry, ma'am, we have to search your home, and it's his fault, of course." GP says, didn't her mom and her aunt say that they thought that she was murdered? Like they suspected some sort of foul play? Yeah, they did. But it was because of the bruising and the things like that. I still suspect that there could be foul play. because she was found first and then the other girl was murdered. You know, you have cause and effect. You have, I don't know, I just don't believe that she's going to be partying all by herself. I feel like somebody could have been covering their tracks. A 2007 whistleblower says she's a narcissist to not talk about the victims and humans. Yeah, wouldn't that be the first thing you would think of? Somebody comes to you and says, "Hey, your husband or your wife is a killer." You're like, "Oh my God, what?" And they show you the proof and, provide you the facts. The first thing you're going to think about is the people. You're going to feel guilty, right? You're almost going to feel responsible, like by not noticing. You're going to feel guilty and you're going to be thinking about those family members. Like, I would feel awful. I'd feel ashamed. Mar, yeah, wife is sus. I think she is. And I hate to say it, because you don't want to really. Most times they are victims, right? Like, I think with the Delphi case, I think Kathy Allen, I think she may not have a clue. I think she still thinks he might be innocent. We'll see what a jury thinks. That's awful, Wanda. Trying to think. Is it Todd Colehep? That's what that reminds. No, not Todd Colehep. Who am I thinking of? Oh yeah, Timothy Hazlitt. You guys ever heard of that case? Wanda, this case that you put up here in the chat kind of reminds me of this other case that we're going to do on True Crime in the Morning, probably Friday. It's not a murder mystery, but it's interesting. Here, I'll show you a little clip of that.
Help me, I've been raped, I've been held captive.
Well, thanks for joining us tonight at 6. I'm Sharon Chen. Now, for the first time, we're hearing from neighbors who helped a woman who was going door to door screaming for help after she said she escaped a home. Well, that woman told police that a man was holding her against her will and had sexually assaulted her. KCTV5's Emily Rittman is live near Old Orchard and South Kimball Avenue, where police are executing a search warrant right now. And Emily, what can you tell us?
Well, Sharon, we are expecting a new update from police very soon, and we will share that with you as soon as we get it. And police told us earlier today that the woman was screaming for help and banging on doors around 7:47 this
she got
morning.
away.
We spoke with one neighbor who called
so
911 and another neighbor whose grandmother let the woman inside of her home to try and offer her some help. We also know that one neighbor said the woman reported that she had been held against her will since September. Earlier this morning, Lisa Johnson noticed a woman hunched over and nearly crawling toward her.
Okay, guys, imagine you're getting ready, you're on your way to work, and this happens to you. What would you do?
She said it was obvious the woman had experienced trauma. She had marks on her wrist and face. Lisa called police.
Her face was bound that she had taken off.
Shout out to Lisa Johnson.
She had some kind of collar device on. She told me that she was being held and that the person she was being held by lived up the street.
While Lisa called 911, neighbor Sierra Thorpe's grandmother let the woman inside of her home.
My grandma said she had a metal collar around her neck, pretty tight. It was restricting her breathing. She had ligature marks she seen on her wrists. Real disheveled. She could tell she was pretty weak. She brought her in, gave her some food, wrapped her in a blanket. She said, if somebody doesn't let me in, he's going to find me and he's going to kill me. I mean, he was not that far away. He was within a couple minutes away, taking his son.
It's like a horror movie.
Police say the woman's description.
That gave me anxiety. right there. Like that made me feel like somebody's coming. Like he's right around like a Friday the 13th
Hey.
movie or something.
Taking his son to the school.
Police say the woman's description of what happened to her brought them to a home off Old Orchard, where investigators are executing a search warrant tonight. Police took a potential suspect into custody and do not believe any other suspects are involved.
She made the comment that he killed my friends, didn't make it. He killed my friends. They didn't make it. She just kept repeating it.
We have no further victims that we.
They eventually found 2 other victims in barrels, if I'm not mistaken. I might have more information on that here. Let's see. Imagine how many missing people who are basically across the whole United States are just in somebody's dungeon right now. Now, how would you even go about? There's nothing you could do about it. So yeah, we'll be covering this case as well. We'll also be looking into the Henryetta case. Do you guys know anything about that case? Me and Cold Truth covered that together on a live stream way back, and I think she did one as well on her channel. But I'm trying to get my hands on the full affidavit, and then we'll dive more into that case. The Henryetta case, that is. She's like, damn, and this is going to be the first televised hearing. She's trying to keep her cool. Yeah, Mar, for sure. Mar says he supposedly picked up black hookers and maybe a serial killer. Oh, yeah, he's definitely a serial killer. They kept this girl for 7 years. 7 years, really? Oh, in the other case, gotcha. Is that the one where he put her head in a box or something? What's up? Good to see you, Brad. What's going on, Nedra? How are you? No, that you guys don't know about the Henryetta case? Let me see. I think I have a video ready. This is a horrible case. One of the worst ever.
Ended up after 7 bodies were discovered in Oklahoma, just about an hour south of Tulsa yesterday. 2 of those victims were teenage girls who were with a 39-year-old sex offender who was also found dead. Details on this investigation are still sparse. Omar Villafran shares what we know so far.
We've searched the property and we've located 7 bodies.
Hey, Candace.
Oklahoma law enforcement found those bodies in Henryetta Monday, but would not discuss any additional facts of the case.
There's no suspect at large that we are looking for right at this moment.
While neither a motive nor the name of a suspect has been released, the father of 16-year-old Brittany Brewer confirmed his daughter was among the dead.
She always played with her little sister, and I don't know how I'm going to tell her, because she's like, Brittany's lost, Brittany's missing. And I got to tell a 4-year-old that she's gone. And I don't even know how to do that.
Earlier in the day, Oklahoma Highway Patrol reported Brewer was endangered and missing, along with her friend, 14-year-old Ivy Webster. They were believed to be traveling with 39-year-old Jesse McFadden. Brewer's father told Tulsa station KOTV that his daughter was friends with McFadden's children and had spent the weekend with the McFadden family and was supposed to come home Sunday night, but never arrived.
Good to see you.
Records from the state's Department of Corrections show that McFadden was convicted on first-degree rape charges in November of 2003 and released from prison in October 2020. He was slated to stand trial Monday on charges of soliciting sexual conduct with a minor and possession of child pornography. Omar Villafranca, CBS News.
Yeah, this case is horrible. So he basically like lured over all his, his stepkids' friends. Like, hey, come over. And I'm not sure if the kids actually even wanted them to come over. I'm not even certain about that. He may have somehow kind of catfished them away. Maybe even by proxy, like forcing them to invite these friends over. Because he was going to have one last, I don't know what you would call it. He's like, I'm going to inflict maximum pain. I don't know. McFadden might be one of the worst people that I've ever come across as far as these true crime cases. Like, I'm talking worse than even like Ted Bundy and like what he did here. I don't think it gets any worse than that. Hey, what's up, Salty Sleuth? All right, so we're going to spend the last half of today's check-in talking about the Delphi case. So let's go back to so I thought that was interesting. So Richard Allen's former defense team, they're going to be able to get together with the new defense team and kind of explain where they were at, why they were going in this direction. So it's not like it's dead in the water, for all those people who are like, oh, they just want to get him out of there so they can't push this Odinist theory forward and, that kind of bullshit. But they will have an opportunity to kind of explain why they were going in that direction. And as they hand over the information, they can explain it all at that time.
Here, Mike and Becky Patty, they also.
Yeah, there's Carrie. She looks good. Mike looking good. Oh shit, what's his name? I can't remember his name. The old police chief. Can't remember his name. Oh, the shame. Baldwin with his head down. I wonder what his next move is going to be. Nedra says, I feel so bad for Libby and Abby's family and friends. Probably feels like it's never ending pain. Yeah, they've kind of learned to kind of step back. They kind of step back and wait for things to reach a conclusion. Because early on, you had all these different suspects. Daniel Nations, a handful. But when the Brian Chadwell thing came out and everybody was like, oh, well, that fits the MO. That's got to be, he might be related. They kind of spoke up a lot at that time. And they said, hey, we've learned to kind of step back and kind of just ignore most of it until there's an official word on it. Rosie's like, fuck this Baldwin dude. Come on, guys. Yo, let's go. Baldwin fucked up. We're out. So that should be Kathy Allen and Richard Allen's mother. So I wonder what he said to them. Probably a lot of I'm sorries. Sorry that we used your husband for publicity. And then we ran. Like, man, how embarrassing. Nedra says the Odinism theory is bullshit, in my opinion. A lot of high profile cases use the cult defense. Yeah, when they're sitting in the room, it sounds great, right? Hey, if we can convince the courtroom that these guys are over here committing the murder and it ain't you, we'll get you out of here. Easier said than done, right? Especially if you don't have any truth to it. I agree. I think they will. Lulu Chadwell is the ultimate douche. 100%. He's the epitome of douche. I don't know. He seemed like a lifer to begin with. Anyway, I don't know if he's paying. He seems like one of those guys that always kind of knew he'd end up in prison. Okay, I had something else here. Oh, yeah, Doolin. All right, let's talk about this for a moment. Can't get past it. Yeah, Rosie looks pissed, Courtney. 100%. He looks mad. He's like, I don't even want to talk to you, dude. He's like, you go that way, I'm going to go this way. I'm still working. I still have a client. I'll address their family. You go ahead and sneak out through the back in shame. Yeah, she looks different. I don't know why. Maybe something with her hair. Yeah, I hope he's paying. He should be paying. Yeah, I don't know if you could get ready for it. Hey, what's going on, Angela? I think if it was Odinist, we would see these weird sacrifices everywhere. We haven't heard of another one anywhere, so. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we know a lot about the crime scene, and I don't think you could say with 100% certainty that what we're looking at is Odinism. I don't even know if it's like a bad mockery. You know what I mean? I don't even know if it's a poor fake, let alone the real deal. Shadowbox says Kathy looks different because she's stressed the hell out. Oh, yeah, that's probably an understatement. My kid gave me gray hair years ago. Yeah, I'm sure I gave my parents gray hairs. I was a nightmare. Jeez. Yeah, Jim's right. Becky's strong. She has no choice. And she's come to that realization. She's learned to be patient and kind of ignore. I think she's learned to kind of know what's bullshit and what's not, what to focus on and what to ignore. Thank you, Brown Skittle. Yeah, if you guys could hit the like button, we're probably going to hang out here just another 10 minutes. Yeah, you only have two choices. Once you get knocked down, you can either lay down or you can get back up. You have two choices in life: lay down or get back up, because you will get knocked down a lot. Purdue says if Richard Allen was on his phone watching ticker, then should be a digital trail of his movement. And there might be. There very well could be, Purdue. Lulu, does anybody recall Sean, rest in peace? Oh, Sean Harmon. Yeah, rest in peace, Sean, talking about the Colts. No, I don't remember that. I remember him talking about his father and like biker gangs a lot. And stuff like that. What's going on, Jessica? I know defense attorneys can get messy, but damn, this team, yeah, that was awful. Because they were already pushing the envelope. You know what I mean? This just kind of was the straw. Wow. Not even the straw. It's like a brick, really, that broke the camel's back. It could have taken a straw, but they decided to drop a brick. It's unfortunate for Baldwin, but karma's a bitch. Well, it's unfortunate for the case. I would have preferred them to go forward with the Odinist stuff, in that courtroom before something like this happened. But remember, they weren't forced out. Judge Gall was frustrated because she was going to give them another chance. She did not want to start over. So everybody out there saying that these guys were forced out, that's bullshit. Baldwin ran in shame, head down, tail beneath his legs. He was not fired. He quit. Yeah, it is unfortunate, sarcastic. And it's not just old religion. I think all religions are used, and are actually used in a lot of murders. Blamed and actually used. A lot in Christianity too. We covered a case, remember, not too long ago, that guy, he said he went on a rampage, he killed 4 people, I believe. And when they arrested him, they asked him, "Hey man, why'd you do it?" He said he was trying to stop an angels and demons fight. And that God told him that he had to do it to prevent Armageddon. Miss Mala says, I wonder how Abby's mom is doing. She is always quiet in the background. She's had enough of the BS. GP. It's because you spoiled him. Look, see? You reap what you sow. Melissa says, Sean always said BG was his dad. Yeah, I remember that. He also said the young sketch was his son, which didn't make any sense. His son was like 11 or something at the time. Sela says, will we get to see Rosie's resignation? Yeah, I think we have to now. He's kind of forced out. They got to start from scratch now. I don't think they can keep him on now. He's kind of tainted. He's bad shit. He's got the mark on him. He's bad for the case at this point. And he would be bad for Richard Allen. Yeah, I think sarcastic. I think they're all tied in together. What's up, Susan? Okay, so this is the thought that I want to finish up here with. So Richard Allen tells Dan Doolin, like, hey, I was there and I saw 3 girls. So Dan Doolin says, okay, no biggie. You know, you look harmless. He gives himself a note. He says, follow up about the 3 girls. Okay, so when he follows up with the 3 girls and he says, hey, well, what'd you see? Aren't they going to say, well, I'm pretty sure we saw the killer? Okay, well, if you saw the killer, you know, like it says in the affidavit, if you saw the killer and Richard Allen just told you, Mr. Doolin, that he saw those 3 girls and those 3 girls are telling you that they saw the killer, shouldn't that have been an open and shut case right then and there? Or have they been looking at Richard Allen this entire time? Because there's no way that he follows up with these 3 girls and they don't tell him, hey, the guy we seen looks like the guy on the video. And he's going to say, oh, well, if the guy that you seen looks like on the video, well, the guy that I talked to is most likely the guy that you seen. Because he told me he saw you at the same time that you saw him. Yeah, but the tip was lost, right? So what the hell is going on with this? To me, I don't think that's possible. Either that or he never followed up with those 3 girls. And they followed up with somebody else. I mean, you have to assume that he actually followed up, right? And if they knew to follow up with these 3 girls, they had to have known that that was associated with a male witness who was there at the time the girls went missing. Purdue says Sleuth, in my opinion, Doolin, friend with Richard Allen. Yeah, because let's run down that rabbit hole. Of course, this is hypothetically. If he is friends with Dan Doolin, it would make sense that, you know, I did ask the question, well, why even put in the tip? You know, if he's in on it or he's trying to help, why even wouldn't you just tell him to be quiet about it? Like, stay quiet, don't call the tip line. But to me, the level of sophistication that Richard Allen, if he is guilty, is showing is incredible. Think about this. He knows that those 3 girls saw him. If he does not come forward about that, I believe he would have been in jail a long time ago. But him being proactive, showing that sophistication, kind of eliminated him as a suspect. But I just feel like it's impossible that Dan Doolin, knowing he's got this man, this single individual, admitting to being on the trails at the time the girls went missing, right? He should be like the top of his list at this point. Right? All I got to do is kind of verify with these 3 witnesses if this is our guy. Hey, 3 witnesses. I have a guy. This is what he looks like. He said he was here. He said he saw you. Did you see him? Well, yeah, that's him. I didn't really see his face, but yeah, that looks like that could be him. The guy we seen is the guy in Libby's video. Okay. So I'm telling you, either it's almost like there's only 2 options here. Dan Doolin is covering up, or they knew about Richard Allen from the very beginning. Six years. And they're still not done. Going on 7. Yeah, well, I guess the third option is they may not being honest about that whole scenario. So if they knew about Richard, one thing that I know is that right before they announced the arrest of Richard Allen, yeah, we had the search and all that going on relating to Keegan Kline. Still not sure how that's related to anything. But more importantly, all right, hold on. I'm reading this email here. Sorry about that. I got sidetracked here. Courtney says not to blame Doolin, but he's now the fire chief, right? How about the whiteboard with the list of people at the bridge? How many people saw BG at CVS? True Crime says Richard Allen's statements were misfiled by a civilian FBI employee. What is that? Well, I don't think they were it was mislabeled by Doolin and handed to the civilian FBI employee. You know, they're saying, hey, we're not responsible for that. So in a way, it appears that if Dan Doolin did that on purpose, that would be a good way to hide that information. I just don't understand. Was there no cross-referencing on any of this? It's almost as if Dan Doolin would have done the interview, filed it, and then kept quiet about it. He didn't interview the girls, and he didn't talk about the interview. So I'm wondering if those 3 girls came forward at another time separately from Dan Doolin. Why didn't Richard Allen go to the real cops? Why didn't he only go to the DNR office? I don't think he went to the DNR office. I think he called in. I think he called in to local police, and then Doolin met up with him at a grocery store. Like, oh, you were there? Okay, let me go. Let me meet you here. Let me get your information. Took his information, and then that was it. So I don't know how common it is for that to happen. You think it's like, hey, I'll come to you, or you just come in to the office. Like, why meet at a random place? Yeah, that is very strange. And that could also be the reason he didn't record the interview. Like, don't come here, man. Don't come to the department. I'm going to come to you and I'll talk to you there. Yeah, it does seem a little fishy. Could be nothing, but yeah, a little bit fishy, Shadow. I don't think they were forced out, but the hiring of the attorney and his statement makes it look like he wanted to stay on the case. So what happened? Yeah, Rosie wanted to stay on, but because of what happened with Baldwin, they had to get rid of both of them. Because no matter what, Baldwin or Rosie's still part of all of that. And the prosecution could probably use it somehow against them down the line. Yeah, misfiled under the last name Whiteman. Instead of Richard Allen, it was Richard Allen Whiteman. Or maybe just Richard Whiteman, I'm not sure. But that's the name of the street he lived on, was Whiteman. All right, guys, that's all the time we have. Let me know what you think about today's live stream there in the comments. If you are part of that replay crew, I do want to hear what you have to say. Members, I think today we're going to talk about am I saying the last name right? Joshua Maddox? Or is it Maddow? But I think we're going to look into that case. See, I did pull an article here. So, chimney discovery ends mystery over young man's disappearance, but questions remain. That's Joshua there. From the Denver Post by Jesse Paul. See, for 7 years, Mike Maddox searched homeless shelters in Colorado Springs, scoured campgrounds in the Pike National Forest, and scanned strangers' faces on the street. He held on to hope that his missing son, Josh, the long-haired guitar-playing 18-year-old, would one day come home. But last month, the wonder and worry ended after workers demolishing a historic cabin found human remains frozen in a fetal position inside a stone chimney. It was Josh, a quarter-mile from his family's home. So yeah, I think we will be talking about this case a little bit later on today. All right, guys, that is all my time. Thanks for hanging out. Shout out to all of you who caught the live stream. I'm going to close out the chat here before we go, and then I'll be out. I don't think so, Frederica. I don't know if they can hire outside of the state. I think they have to be within that state. I'm almost certain about that. Stephanie says Doug Carter was talking directly to Allen at the 2019 presser. He could have been. Miranda says humans make errors, but that doesn't mean law enforcement is incompetent or purposefully corrupt. Correct. But it also could mean that it was they were, though, right? There is a chance that they were being either incompetent or purposefully corrupt. So you have three choices there. Rumors early of a cover-up with law enforcement. Where there is smoke, there could be fire. Doolin is culpable, in my opinion, at the least for obstruction of justice. I mean, at the most, an investigation, right? Or at the least, some kind of an investigation into that. How does that happen? You know, you have people like Robert Ives, who was the prosecutor at the time, saying, I thought this was going to be solved in day one. You know, I thought this would be wrapped up. What the hell's going on? Well, maybe somebody had their thumb on the scale. Of a Kevin Doolin getting arrested by Leggett for evading police. Yeah. Unfortunately, Sweets, that's the truth for a lot of these cases. We just will never know. Czar81. Did Doolin know that the building described by Richard Allen was actually the CPS building? Do you think he could have corrected Richard Allen if he knew what he actually meant? Was he familiar at all about the art? Yeah, he's familiar. That is his jurisdiction. You know, if they're gonna find a body on the creek, it's now his job, right? It was found on Ron Logan's property, so it's a little bit different. But if they did find it in the water, I'm pretty sure he would have been leading that investigation. Because I know it was him. He was the lead for a 4-year-old boy that got washed away in that same creek. jurisdiction. I wonder if Dee Dee feels guilty or bad about any of that. Oh, Doolin? Yeah, he's being hush-hush. They need to look into that, honestly. Just doesn't make any sense. Like, don't you have the man's ID? Like, can I see your ID? And then you put the ID on the piece of paper, right? And you're copying it onto your notes. Or did he record it? Did he record the conversation and then realize that it was a bad copy or a corrupted file, and then he did the best he could, and the notes that he filed were from memory? I don't know. They need to find out, though, in my opinion. Yeah, CJK, I agree with that. I think they were ready to go ahead and take down the defense's little theory there in court. I think they were happy to. And at the same time, you got to wonder if the defense was like, oh, man, that's the best we had, we're out of here. Good luck defending this man. Everything that comes out to the public looks, like a defense. But behind the scenes, they could be frantic and doubting everything. What's going on, Joan? All right, guys, that is all my time. Thank you so much. Thanks for hitting the thumbs up. Miranda, Jessica, and Mar R. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Daisy. Good to see you. Have a great day at work. Digital, thanks for the thumbs up. Kind of extreme. You're welcome, Mitzi. Thanks for hanging out. And members, I'll see you later tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That'll be 6 o'clock my time. Shay says an out-of-state lawyer can co-represent a defendant, but has to be licensed in that state as well. Thank you. Have to have an Indiana law license or that state license. Yeah, exactly, Sweets. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. So either they're lying about the tip, Dan Doolin is lying, or he's incompetent. One of those three. Culpable, incompetent, or part of a plan. Miss Thang, what's up? All right, guys. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Members, I'll see you later. Take care. Peace.